we ought to get started here.
Good morning, John and everybody.
How's everybody? Everybody ready for New Year's? Everybody got all their goals done. We got one more day to accomplish them for this year, and then we close the book and open a new one. Okay, well, we can get started here. What is today? Let's see. It's Friday, December 30th, 2022. I guess we'll let Laura get our disclaimer going here, and then we'll get started, I guess.
Okay, good morning and welcome, everyone. First, I'd like to do a bit of housekeeping. Feel free to unmute yourself when it's your turn to speak. Please be mindful of everyone else by muting yourself while others are speaking. You're welcome to put any contact information that you want to share into the chat. We meet here to share deals, look for deals and solutions we have in need with our real estate. We are not your financial advisors, accountants, or attorneys. We do not endorse or recommend any specific solutions or contractors here. You're advised to do your own due diligence to your own satisfaction before you invest. The first Friday of each month is Ask the Attorney with Ms. Catherine Davis. Our meetings are typically recorded, so only share what you want others to know.
Thank you. All right. Who would like to start off today? Who's got something for sale? Everybody does, right? Everything's for sale for the right price. Where'd Jim go? Oh, there he is. He's not. Are you in Mexico up there, Jim? He's muted. Maybe he's scuba diving.
I scared him.
Okay, Laura scared him, huh? He's all muted.
Sorry, I was on mute. Now I'm in St. Louis. That picture's from October, I believe. I was there, and I'm probably not going back till April or May.
Okay.
So I've been in this cold weather the last week or so, like everybody else.
It's cold everywhere. We were in Arkansas for the last 11 days, and it was freezing down there. We couldn't even go outside of the cabin.
Yeah, I talked to my brother in Florida this morning. It's been cold down there too.
Amazing.
Huh.
Yeah.
Except for yesterday, it was hot.
Okay. Well, has anybody got anything for sale? Anybody looking to buy anything? Good to see everybody's faces. A lot of smiles here. Everybody's ready for New Year's. Anybody got anything they're working on? Everybody's working on their weekend, huh? Okay, well, we have one more day to reach our 2022 goals. So if you have anything that you need to finish up, this is a great time to do it.
I need more than one day.
More than one day. Well, you got 365 coming up.
Yeah, I know. For my 22 goals. Yeah.
Yeah. Laurel, you have something you want to say? You can unmute yourself. And
yeah, I have something I'm working on.
Mhm.
I'm out here in California, and I've been looking at different counties around where I live so that, it's within driving distance. I'm looking for people who don't want their house and don't want to deal with the normal channels to get rid of it or can't, whatever the case may be. So I'm looking for, I'd like opportunities to help people get what they want and get it done. I found a county near mine, adjacent to mine, and they have a tax sale every year at the end of February. And also one, I think, in like June or July. Anyway, so 2 a year. And they don't list the properties that are coming up for the auction. They have an auction, and they don't list the properties on the website. They say if you want a list of the properties that are coming up for auction, you can send in a check and they'll mail it to you. And I thought it did say, the website clearly said, the list is available in early December, send your check and we'll mail you the list. So I sent a check with a nice note and season's greetings and all that. And I got a call yesterday from a guy, in that department, informing me that the list isn't ready yet. And they won't have it for a few weeks. And do I want him to send back the check, or do I want him to hold the check? Well, it was $6.50, first of all. And I said, yeah, so you hold the check and mail me the list when it's ready. But what that means for me is that there's going to be less time for me in between when I get that list and when the auction takes place. And what I was thinking was, wow, I'm going to get the list now. I'm going to go through it all. I'm going to single out 5 or 6 or 8 properties and send those people a letter, and then get in there before the auction, and then get something done so that that property comes off of the auction list and I've got it handled. So now I'm going to have less time to do that, but I'm still going to do what I'm going to do. And I may not be able to do the research and get the letters out to the property owners in time, and then have some conversations or whatever else takes place between the time they get the letter and the time I can sit down with them, right? So all of that, and then get the contract and take them off the auction list. But I can't take them off the auction list without paying back taxes and whatever else may be due. And I'm not the one to pay that. So I not only have to get in front of the property owner, get the letters, get the contract signed, I've got to find the buyer, and that person has to be able to act quickly enough to then decide, yeah, we'll go through with this, and do all of that before the end of February. It may not happen. All right, fine. Now, then once they go to auction, if they don't sell at auction, the county holds them for the next auction. So that's 6 months out. I already registered to get updates. So I'm going to confirm that I'm going to get updates on which properties didn't sell at auction, if any. And then I still have those people to work with. Plus there's your idea, John, of why don't I just get in my car and go drive around and identify properties that may be likely candidates, and then come back and do the research and go that way, which I plan to do. It's just lousy weather. I don't want to get in my car when it's pouring rain and low visibility and holidays and that. So I'm not doing that right this minute. But anyway, I'm just throwing all this out there. If people have something to contribute beyond what I've thought of, or if they have other ideas, whatever, just because I'm new. So this is like my first foray into moving forward in this business.
Well, it sounds like you're on the right track there, Laurel. You've got some, you could be the go-to person in that county. You know,
Yeah.
you be the authority there from what you've already learned, and you could take that. And it sounds like you're already learning the process, which, as we've talked about, every county is different. Everyone is totally different. So there's, over 3,000 counties out there, and there's not 3,000 of us on the call today. So, we could all be experts in a county and not even touch each other. So
I have a few more, including Alameda County, that I'm going to look into, and so I have plenty of counties ahead. This is the first one that I'm even moving with. So
yeah, it's great. Thank you.
okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep. Be curious to see how your progress works on those, because I know counties are not slow. And this time of year, we kind of talked about that earlier a little bit. Eric said he was trying to get a hold of somebody this morning, and they're not easy to get a hold of right now. And most people are in holiday mode. I know a lot of us here on the call, we're having the holidays too, because it happens for all of us, but we're here trying to make things better for ourselves and for those around us. So it's all, I'm really glad to see everybody that's here right now. It just says a lot about, who you are and who we are, sitting here. And it's I really appreciate that. But it's all good. It's good to hear what you're working on. I know California is a different world out there. Eric knows a little bit about it. I don't know as much. I know I've been there a lot of times. I've been there long enough to know I probably don't want to put an LLC out there, just like you're talking about with an $800 a year renewal.
Yeah.
Something we don't have here in Missouri, which we were very fortunate about. But but everything's different. I mean, there's definitely reasons to do things there. And I know there's non-wanters everywhere. All you
Yeah.
got to do is solve their problem, and that's where the money is. The bigger the problem you solve, the more money you make, and especially in real estate, because it's
Yeah.
very rarely is it a real estate problem. It's always a people problem.
I also will say, John, you had mentioned some time ago that it's good to have to know a good realtor, because I could very well sit down in a situation where it turns out that the best outcome is for this person to get with a realtor and get it on the market and sell it. That could be the best outcome. I do know a good realtor, and I thought he was retiring, but he sent us a calendar this year with a note that says, no, he's putting in at least one more year with people that he already knows. And our relationship with him goes back 25 or 30 years. He's really good. And he's connected enough that if it's something too far away for him or whatever the case may be, he can find somebody really good to put on that. So I have that piece that I'm glad for. I'm grateful for.
Mm-hmm. That sounds like a good relationship there. I mean, that's one of the keys to having a good business is your relationships and your team, people that you have on your team. That could be a good team member for you. Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Yeah, because I know that's one of the things that I've run into in the past too, because there's, not everybody you want to deal with, but when you find somebody like that you can refer people to, and they'll refer people back to you, that's a win-win-win right there, because there's always going to be people that, that maybe they run into that cannot or will not fix their properties up, and they may not be able to sell at retail value, but yet you being maybe a wholesaler or somebody that understands, some of the some of those other strategies, that they can refer back to you, because you could be the person that might know the other people. So very valuable members of your team can be invaluable in their, especially with a realtor, a good one.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. See Melissa back there. It's good to see you. I haven't seen you in a couple of weeks. Hopefully you've been out doing some fun stuff.
Been really busy around here, surprisingly. Normally winter is like my time to decompress, but last year and this year it has not been like that at all, which is a blessing. I'm not complaining by any means. So
Mm-hmm. It was kind of cold to go camping last week anyway.
yes, it was, but we had a really good job come our way with tile. So we just installed a big tile roof. So
Oh, good. Tile roof. Wow.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we do tile.
Was that in
If anybody
town?
needs a tile roof.
Was that in town?
Yeah,
Melissa?
it's in St. Charles.
Okay.
There's a lot of tile roofs over around Umsel also. And we've replaced a few of those before too. So
Very nice.
and hopefully with this weather kicking back up into the nice temperature range next week we'll have a few roofs to install too. So got a list waiting.
That sounds good.
Yeah, been lots of blessings happening. So
Yeah.
thank God.
Well, that's great. Good to see you. Good to see your smile too. It's always good.
You too.
Thanks. Good to see everybody. Anybody else got anything that they're working on? Anything for sale? Anything they want to buy? Anything they need as far as, I don't know, contractors on, or any kind of questions? I mean, we got a lot of people here today. A lot of knowledge. Dave Soto up there ready for the new year worth of for his property management, and also Stacy over there too. you guys look eager and ready to help people. And I know we all need help this time of year. A lot of people are having struggles. We were just down in Arkansas, and on the Springfield channel, they showed the SAFHR. In fact, I took a picture of it. SAFHR is still giving out money, and I don't know for how long. Maybe you guys, do you know anything about that?
John, yeah, how you saying? Yeah, the last I heard that it was going to end January the 31st. But yeah, you're right. They're actually still, sending, helping people with that, with SAFHR. But I think it ends at the first of the year. That's the last I heard. Because I have a tenant now that's just applied, and then she did tell me that that's when it should be ending.
Yeah, I didn't hear it. I mean, we're still getting applications for it, and so we're still getting funds from it, but it's still taking a long time. Still a very tedious process, and hasn't been a great program for our owners.
How long has the process been approximately, Dave?
I think I checked out last time I looked. Hold on a second, pull up real quick. It's about a minimum of 40 days. 40? Yeah. Wow. Till we get income. And one of the problems is that we run into is that we have a dashboard that we keep track of everything, but it doesn't tell us anything. It doesn't give us, it's not a very good dashboard. Here, I'll put it right now. Average is 44.59 days.
44.59.
It's taken as long as 78 days to get funds from the time they apply. But I was going to say, one of the issues that we have is that the dashboard doesn't tell us anything more than they applied and here's how much they applied for. Doesn't give us an update as to what the status of the application is. We've got to call, and it's always a 20-minute hold at least. We have to call to get an update, and there'll be times we call and go, well, they've haven't denied them, but they're just disregarding it because the tenant won't give them more information they asked for. And so in the meantime, the tenant is in place, getting further and further behind in rent. And we agree by signing this that we can't evict them while they're in the process. So that's one of the killer things that we run into.
Now, are they paying behind and ahead too? I've heard that.
They will, yes, they will. They'll pay 3 months behind, 3 months ahead.
Okay, so they'll pay up to 6 months then possibly.
So when I called and I inquired because I had one tenant applied several times, I was told they can apply for up to a year's worth of rent. So.
In 40, yeah, because 44.59 days, that's like another month and a half.
Yeah.
That they're falling behind because they're probably not paying in the meantime.
They are not. I got to tell you this real quick story. I have somebody applying for a property right now, and did a rent verification, and they said that she's behind. I forgot how much it was in rent. So I went back and I said, okay, I'm not even consider this application until she catches up her rent. Give her that opportunity. Well, she comes back. She goes, well, I've applied for SAFHR, and so I'm just waiting for the SAFHR money to come in. But then I go and look, and she's working. She has a very good income, right? She's working. There's no reason she can't be paying her rent, but she's not. She's waiting for the state to pay her rent for her. So denied.
Oh boy. Yeah. Well, some people forgot Christmas came around again too. I've heard. It's like every year you didn't know, it surprised you this year,
Yeah. So it's been a very difficult program to do. If I've got one owner right now, he has not, when he bought the property, the tenant was already, we had applied for it. Let's see, if I can find it real quick. When he bought the property, the tenant hadn't paid rent, and he made a deal with the seller that however they did it, that he was going to get the back rent. So I'm not sure how they did it. So he's been waiting. Oh gosh, where did it go? She applied in August, and we just now got notification last week that it's been approved, and it takes 2 to 3 weeks to get the check.
August? Are you
Yeah.
kidding? Oh my gosh. Holy cow. So they obviously has not been paying since then.
No, not at all.
Wow.
And we run into things where they finally got the money, but it's not enough to cover all their back rent. So then we can evict.
Wow. So you can evict then after they get their, after
As
the
long
safe
as
money
long
comes
as
in?
they didn't get forward rent.
Forward rent, okay. Wow. Well, if it's back to August, you're only talking 6 months anyway. If you're only getting 3 months back, even if they would pay in the future, that wouldn't be the future from now. That would just be up to date.
Yep.
Wow. That's a lot of extra work for you, it sounds like.
It has been. And okay, hold on a second. I think I moved here. It has been. It's been a lot of work. Again, like I said, if you look at it, the application process is not big. We have to give our information, who we are. They don't ask anything about the tenant. They don't ask if they're behind on rent. They don't ask anything. Just our information, and then we submit it, and then we just wait. I think, and the reason I said checks, we're waiting for checks because you can ask for it to be direct deposited, but they don't notify you. We all of a sudden see money in our account, don't know who it's for, just there's money in the account.
They don't give you no explanation of who it's
No.
on behalf of then.
No,
Okay.
so we've got to go to the dashboard. And by the way, the dashboard tells you how much rent they have applied for. That doesn't mean that's how much they're going to get.
What determines that factor, or do you know?
I do not know, but so we had that problem with that direct deposit, and I have a nice spreadsheet here of everybody that's applied and how much they applied for. But if they got something different than what they applied for, I couldn't find it. I had to give them a call, find out who this is for. And so I said, let's just do a check because the check says who it's for.
Wow. So, and you don't get compensated for that extra amount of time
No,
or
do not.
effort or energy or anything.
No,
Yeah.
do not.
Right. Wow.
So I was wrong. I pulled up an old spreadsheet, and it's actually 50.52 days to fund on average.
50.52.
Yes, and here's one that
Wow.
they applied in July, and we finally got money in November.
Well, that's a long time.
That was one of the ones where when we checked on it, they said they're waiting for more information from the tenant, and the tenant has no reason to get it. They're living there rent free, so they'll get to it when they get to it, and they finally did. So.
Wow. That's just,
So Dave,
that's
well,
unbelievable.
what I found though, I found that if they are previously in the system, it does not take quite that, so long of a time. I have one this is the third time to apply, and she, and it's sad to say, but they do abuse the system, but her third time, and it usually comes in like 3 to 4 weeks.
Yeah, so here's a tenant. She's applied. She just applied again. But good news, she's applied because you're right. It does come in faster. Last time she applied, we got it in 30 days.
Yeah.
So she just applied again on the 27th. So hopefully we'll get it right away. But that's like her 4th time applying. Yeah. Yeah, the first time she applied was back in May, and it took 44 days to get payment.
Well, the commercial we seen on TV, we seen it a couple of times, and they acted like they had so much money they didn't know what to do with it, and they would have it out the door as soon as it was applied for. But obviously, that's not even close to being true.
That is not true. No.
No. So, from my understanding, is that I did not hear about the end date. I thought they had a pool of money, and until they run out of that money, they're going to continue.
Well, it comes up on the screen when you go into,
Okay.
to complete it. It'll say, but they have extended it in the past, so they will probably do it again.
Yeah. I think I told you before. I had one tenant where I was looking at the notes that the money had come in, and I was looking in the system, looking at her notes that she did not want to renew her lease. She wanted to go month to month because she was in the process of buying a house.
Mm.
So it is abuse, and that's sad. You know, these programs are for a reason, for people that need it, and when it gets abused, it's just kind of heartbreaking.
Well, it sounds like it's kind of
Yes, it
set
is.
up to offer abuse, you know,
Yes, it is.
inviting it is what it sounds like, because that's just crazy.
The original intent was,
Dave, have you ever had a problem where somebody got the money and it's like suddenly they spent the money on all this other stuff and
no, it comes straight to
and you had
us.
to sue them out anyway?
It comes straight to us. They don't get it.
Right. Yeah, it comes
Okay.
to us. But
Yeah, I forgot that.
one of my tenants said that she's going to apply again because she's trying to save up to buy a car.
Yeah.
So they so what
Wow.
do you do? It's really sad, but that's how it is. That's how the world is now.
Is it a rent to own car, Ann?
I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't, ask any questions. It's whatever, as long as I'm getting my rent,
Wow.
It's bad.
And what's been kind of aggravating is I have personal relationships with our legislators in this area, and I've brought it to them, telling them all the problems with it, and can't seem to get them to be having any interest. It's because it's not state money; it came from the federal government, and
Right.
although the state is administering it, I just can't get them to pay attention or see what they're going to do. I mean, their hands might be tied since it's federal money or what. I don't know what it is, but kind of aggravating. It's not, I mean, when my owners have to wait, 45 days to get their money or longer, and we can't do anything until then. And I can't give them regular updates because I can't log into the dashboard and say, oh, okay, here's where it is in the process. It's very frustrating.
No, it's out of your control. That's true.
And then in the
The good
meantime, you
news
still have
about
the
it is
maintenance or
I've
whatever else happens on the property. So you still got to take care of that, because I'm
Yep.
sure the laws don't change.
Nope.
And you cannot not fix anything,
Right.
So let me make clear, we can't evict for rent. If there's other lease violations, then we can evict, but that's, so.
Okay. Will you still get your rent then from the SAFHR people if you do evict them in that circumstance?
That's a good question. We haven't had that yet, so I don't
Hopefully you
know.
won't.
Scott, you were going to say something?
Yeah, I was just going to say that I had one tenant apply for it, and to piggyback off your original concern was, oh my gosh, is everything okay with the family? Oh yeah, I still am working my job. My friend just told me that they'll pay out anybody who applies, so I just figured I'd go for it. I'm like, well, okay. I'm like, do I have to vouch for you that you're behind or anything like that? And the good news for me was all I had to do is put in my name and my bank account information or whatever, so I didn't have to check a box or say yes, they're behind or anything like that. And so it's between the applicant and the state, as far as I can, between SAFHR and the tenant. So just like Ann said, I got my money, and it is what it is,
Yeah, we're well over $100,000 of SAFHR money that we've collected.
Wow.
And yeah, it's pretty easy on our side. We don't have to, submit a lot of information, from us. It's mostly done for the tenant.
Yeah. The only thing we have different that you're not up against is we have to prove that we manage the property, and that who the owner is, have to prove who the owner is, and prove that we have a management contract, and that the money should come to us. That's the only difference than we have than you guys would have.
Yep.
And unfortunately, one of the issues that we had earlier in the program was our local judge was aware of the SAFHR program and asked the tenants if they applied for it. If they hadn't, she would have them apply for it. So she pretty much stopped all evictions until SAFHR went through. She's since changed her mind. I guess she's had enough attorneys tell her that that's not a good idea, all the issues. So Not only that, the judge even said, we don't have to accept the application, we can deny it. That's one of the things that we can do is we don't have to accept the application, we can deny it. But now the judge turned around and saying, okay, you don't have to accept it. And, but if they had applied, we still have to go by what the state says, that you can't evict through the application process until you get the money.
Well, good information, and hopefully they won't run out of money before they pay everybody. That's what it sounds like. 100,000 sounds like a lot, but I know you guys deal with a lot of money. So hopefully more people are really paying, from their own pockets. That's what I like to see a little bit better. I know, Scott, you just talked about them, people taking advantage. I think I've seen some of that myself without there. And why should they? I mean, if somebody offers it to you, why wouldn't you take advantage of it? So that's, maybe one of the downsides that I kind of see with it. But the good thing is, more of us are getting paid, it sounds like. Well, anybody else got anything else they want to talk about? It's a good discussion though on SAFHR money here. See a lot of smiling faces. Everybody just ready for the new year to start so we can start some new things or finish up things. I mean, there's a lot going on right now. A lot of people are in a holiday mode, which is good to have also. Hopefully you had some good visits with some of your family or at least loved ones for the last couple of weeks. Anybody got anything they want to sell though, or anything they want to buy? Is anybody looking to expand on anything this year?
Does anybody have any tips for the last day and a half of the year as far as taxes go? I think the Secure 2.0 Act went through, and I think they now, as an example, said for Roth 401ks, you don't have to have a minimum distribution. So that means people who have that as a tax-free entity can put more money into that. And I'm not sure if there's a limit on that, like on self-directed IRAs, Roth IRAs, where I think you at a maximum of what, 26,000 or something a year. And of course, there's the double down thing where if you pay debts this year by the 31st, pay twice the debt. Like if you had insurance, then you could skip it next year and you could take the double insurance as an example off for 2022 and supposedly decrease your tax bill on March 15th or April 15th, sorry. If you wanted to, I don't know if anybody else has any special tips they know of to do in the next day and a half. I was just thinking out loud, and there's like 100 things I think they said that are on the new Secure 2.0 Act. So it's like, even though they just passed it, I don't think anybody understands what's all on there that might benefit people trying to save on taxes for 2022.
Well, you do have what'd you say, a day and a half left, it looks like. I guess really, I would think today would be the most important day if you're going to do any last minute contributions, because I don't know who's going to be answering the phone tomorrow. You might find some out there.
Yeah, only if you pay a bill and get it postmarked by tomorrow. Yeah, but today with the this being the last working day technically of the year, you might have to do everything by today, which is only gives you what, 4.5 hours or 5 hours if you're lucky for people who are working.
Well, then you got lunchtime coming up for some of the people, some of the workers out there. And a lot of the people are I think they're 901 to 459ers today anyway, instead of 9 to 5ers. So just a
Or they
lot
took
going on.
off today anyway, so it's already too late. Yeah.
It's always good last minute stuff though. And thanks for the reminder, because I know a lot of us don't think about things until it comes upon us right here. And it's best always to plan ahead, but we don't always do that. But it can make a big difference on your taxes.
Yeah. So for example, if you've got $1,000 bill that you can pay this year and you're in the 10% bracket, to keep it simple, then that saves you $100 on taxes supposedly. So for what that's worth.
That's worth a lot, because we were just talking about that earlier. Eric was talking about that, paying the taxes, getting them at least postmarked by tomorrow, because I know, like on the counties, most of the counties in Missouri here, it's like 10% penalty and interest every month. And that don't seem like much, but just wait till February. If you don't pay them by then, now it's 20% more. So your $1,000 all of a sudden is $1,200, and that goes on and on and on. And eventually you'll end up like Laura was talking about in the tax auction process, because that happens to a lot. I know a lot of us here have bought properties over the counter from some of the counties, because that's what happens. You don't pay your taxes, that's where they go. And then you got other things to deal with. But taxes don't go away. It's one of the few things you cannot prepay, because I've tried to do that, but you cannot be late either, or they will penalize you. That's something very important right now. If you haven't paid your taxes, I would recommend getting them postmarked by tomorrow, if at all possible.
And don't some places charge like 18% a year, basically on a monthly adjusted? That's 1.5%. I think that's the IRS thing. And I think they also point out that if you do your taxes early and maybe even do it online, it's more likely to be run through quicker, as long as there's no mathematical mistakes, because I think the IRS is so far behind. They're still working on 2021 taxes for some people.
Actually, 2020 for us, we still haven't got our stuff back from 2020. So at least 2 years on us personally.
Nuts.
But you at least want to file them and get them in there. But real estate tax makes, if at all possible, I'd make sure that they were postmarked by tomorrow. Or somebody like Laurel is going to look you up in February. And me, and Eric, and some of the rest of us here.
Yeah.
Always a good way to do it. Let's see, Linda. We got a couple of things in the chat here. Okay, Linda still has her property for sale. Let's see. Yeah, that was one. There's your contact information. Yeah, that sounded like I think you talked about that last week, Linda. And that was 63130. It's a good wholesale deal for somebody. And let's see what else we got here. Charles, he put something in there. I'm not sure what that is. An image or something. I can't see it. Oh, a business card. Okay. If you just want to put your contact information in there, Charles, that might be a little easier for people to write down. I think you do some private money, if I remember right. And we see some funding from Carrie up there too. I see her. She's ready to fund some deals for us as investors. Oh, always good to see you there. Got any last minute tips for us as far as funding goes, Carrie, this year?
No, I don't. It doesn't seem like, it sounds like, the IRAs and all that stuff is a big thing. John, you're right. Pay your taxes. It's huge. Absolutely huge. The only other thing I could say is tax rates continue to hike. Feds meet on the 31st of January. So we'll know something around the 1st. So, they say 23 is going to be another year of rises. I don't know. I can't predict. I think, during these times, I fear what's going to happen in terms of, sticker shock. owners are going to have sticker shock and tenants are not going to be able to pay the difference. So just look at your portfolio and make sure, you stabilize that. And if there's anything you need, let me know and I'd be happy to help.
Yeah, you got a couple more hours. I don't know what time you leave today, Carrie, but I see you, it looks like you're there ready to refinance or start a new funding program for somebody right now.
Absolutely.
Always
Yep,
good.
I'm here. And
Yeah.
I'll be here as long as anybody needs me. So there you go.
Well, thank you. Yeah, very, very helpful. Yeah, pay your taxes. That's one of the things when I was a mortgage broker years ago that I first started looking at people behind on their taxes to refinance. Because usually what happens if people get behind on their taxes, they have other things going on in their life and they need other help with other things. And a lot of times you can refinance, your properties and get yourself to a better rate. And like you were saying, before they go up again, because I believe you're absolutely right. The rates are going to probably continue to go up. And I know from some of the other groups that I'm in, some of the people that take the really big hits are some of the higher end properties, it seems like, because some of the things it depends on where you're at in the country too. Our area, we live in a great place because the prices we have on things. But some of the other areas and the people that are taking the real hits are the $700,000, $800,000 to $1.5 million, $100,000 to $1.5 million dollars and up, the ones that finance, not the people that pay cash. You get over $1.5 million in most places, they're usually paying cash. But some of the people that are financing luxury homes, they're not buying these houses right now. There's stuff on the market now that I've seen in some of the groups since August and September, people that were doing these high-end flips and some of that kind of stuff. Now they're having a hard time selling them. So instead of making maybe $200,000 or $300,000 on a property, which was what they were doing in the last year or so because of the interest rates, now they're potentially, and they're losing $100,000 or $200,000 on these properties. So that's something to keep in mind. And one of the advantages we have in our area right here is we have still really nice houses for $200,000, $300,000, and you may be talking a couple $100 on the payment, but that may not be enough to prevent you from buying the house. In some of the other areas, it is preventing from buying the house. So, and we're lucky to have some people on here like Carrie that can talk to you about, some of the stuff, the local areas, because the stuff going on right here. So, I don't know. I just think it's invaluable to have everybody we have right here because we do have some stuff that nobody else has around the country and around the world. I was just on, I attend a lot of meetings because I like to see what's going on, but the real estate ones are always very interesting to me because it is so much different, the things that we have going on here, but the rates make all the difference for a lot of areas. And I'm just glad we're not, well, I shouldn't say I'm glad we're not doing it. I'm talking about me, not everybody else, but doing the $1 million flips right now. You want to stick with the ones that are 200,000, 300,000, 400,000 is what it looks like for the most part if you're in the wholesale business. But financing, that affects us all, and the rates do affect all of us. And there's Charles' information. Thanks for putting that in there. And yeah, and Linda, Gene, I see ask what if Linda's house that was for sale. That was a flip she talked about, or a wholesale deal actually for that she talked about last week. And I know that information is a little bit more of it in our replay from last week. I think she said she's doing her taxes right now, it looks like. And there's Carrie. Thank you for putting your information in there. Great. Anybody else have anything they'd like to share with us today? A lot of good stuff going on. I talked about mainly about money today. Between the SAFHR money and the interest rates going up, we got some private money. There's Linda still has her wholesale property for sale in 63130. That's a good deal for somebody. This is a good time of year, and maybe you could talk to Carrie about getting some funding and some financing for it. Talk to Linda about the house if that seems like a deal maybe to work for you. And you can check with Carrie, or you can check with Charles if that doesn't work and you need some private money. If you need a roof, even if it's a tile roof, we know that that Melissa's out there and she can do tile roofs too, as well as traditional roofs, which is really a good thing to know.
Commercial and residential.
Commercial and residential, very important. Absolutely.
Flat, tile, shingle.
Yep.
Got it all.
Got it all. Yeah, if you'd like to go ahead and share your contact information again for us also, for maybe somebody that doesn't have it, Melissa, if you'd like to, you can say that out loud if you want orally and put it in the chat, that would be great. If you'd like to do that.
Sure.
So anybody that might need a roof, please get in touch with Melissa.
Yep. Roof, gutters, or siding. My contact information is Melissa Adney. My email is melissa@onewayroof.com. My cell phone number is 314-504-1581. And yeah, give me a call if you, even if it's not something that I can physically help you with. I have lots of referrals in my books, lots of people to refer out. People that I would trust and use on my own home. Those are the only people that I refer out. So
Beautiful. Thank you. All right. Anybody else have anything they'd like to share today? Is everybody ready for lunch and then ready to finish this year and kick off the new year with a big bang? Is that what we got going on? Is everybody going to be as excited as we are and not leave the house, or are they going to, everybody have big plans? Well, whatever.
Indoors like you, John.
Hey, what's that, Gina?
I'll be indoors like you.
You'll be indoors like us? Okay. We'll look forward to being indoors with you then. Hear about that next week. No, nothing wrong with it either way. You know, there's a lot of people have a lot of good things going on, you know, activities to go to and celebrations. And a lot of people like to stay home. You know, the last couple of years, we have our grandson, Danny, he turned 6 just a few months ago. And the last couple of years we've spent with him, he's typically in bed by about 7:30 or 8 o'clock. So Laura and I will probably celebrate, I don't know, last couple of years, I think I woke her up on the couch and said, Happy New Year. And then we went to bed. So we'll probably have as much excitement this year. It'd be my guess. Either way, it's all good though. A lot of good things planned for this year. I know STLREIA, we've got our first meeting, actually the first 2 meetings planned, but we do have Peter Hoffman coming up to tell us about some opportunities in St. Louis. He's an attorney that works with vacant properties and with people that, with a lot of people that need help. And, you know, we're a lot of us here are people that are looking for opportunities for investments. And there's, you know, actually St. Louis has a lot of actually sobering facts and statistics on vacant properties and people behind and things like that. But we have some really good opportunities right here in town, and he's going to be telling us about that. That's let's see, the date on January is the 17th. That's a Tuesday night. So if at all possible, mark your schedules, mark your calendars about showing up on location if you could at all do that. At the Moolah Shrine Center over on Fifi. If not, we will have that streamed live on Zoom, and you're welcome to tune in. I know some of you guys won't make it from California and from you know, the East Coast and Florida and some of the other places that that you do typically tune in and join us from, but you are welcome to join us. And we will have the replay, but you know, available also as soon as I can get the rendition done, like I do on these every week too. But I do encourage you to show up live, because there's something about live in-person events, whether they're on location or even on Zoom, that are you just don't get on the recordings. And if you're like me, you want to watch the recording after attending a live event, because even though I take notes with everything I do, I can always pick up stuff the next time or two. 3 times is ideal. I don't always have time to do it 3 times though, because there's a lot going on nowadays. And as you know too, that we got to pick and choose what's beneficial for us. And that's one reason I do like everybody tuning in on Fridays here, because I get a lot out of this. I still consider this my my real estate therapy. Okay, I've joked about that before, but that's typically what it is, because if you go to a lot of the seminars and a lot of the things out there and a lot of the trainings, you only hear about the good stuff. And that's not all there is about real estate investing, as you know, and just from listening to some of us here, there are some other things, some challenges. It's not that it's all bad, because if we look backwards, we can always connect to the dots to learning stuff, as long as we make it learning opportunities. And that's what we get, I think, by coming here. And to me, this just keeps me in line, about hearing what everybody else is going through too. And it's like, my problems aren't so bad, it's really not. And all of us, I think, feel the same way when it comes down to it. We just like to hear the reassurance of other people running in the same kind of stuff. And really what it boils down to is hanging in there. Persistence is key. Having a good attitude, good intentions, and you just stay and hang in there with it. Because most of the time when we're about ready to give up, if we just wait one more day or a couple more hours, even sometimes, that's when everything just kind of fits together for us. And that's what makes it all kind of work for me anyway, and what I've noticed over the years. So anyway, I don't know where I'm just kind of just putting that out there, because that's my therapy and gets me through the day. So I appreciate everybody's smiles though. I do more than you realize. And I'm just real grateful that you're all here.
So John, I just want to mention that I agree with you 100% about coming to the meeting in person on Tuesday. The networking opportunities, you'd be surprised on people just meeting other people and they just start talking, or they ask me a question or ask somebody a question and they go, well, I don't really know the answer. However, so-and-so sitting at that table over there is an expert at that. Let me go introduce you. So networking is just invaluable at these meetings, I believe. So,
yeah, thank you, Jim. And plus you get to meet us all in person. I mean, it's one thing to, sit here and talk to everybody, which is great. In fact, I wouldn't give this up for anything, but to show up, and actually you'll probably be there with a table full of stuff that you can get for, for $10. I mean, I bought some books. I bought one not too long ago, a Robert Allen book that I actually didn't have. And I have, I think, all his stuff, because he's been one of my mentors for many years. But I mean, some of the stuff that people donate and just some members and just stuff that that we have, and that you wouldn't get anywhere else.
Yeah, if Lloyd has some books, I'll be there to sell them. It's just I'm all dependent on the supply. So yeah,
but always worthwhile. And plus you get to see the new place. I don't know if if anybody's been, I know a lot of us have been to the Moolah Shrine Center. It's a great place, big, wide open area. We got pretty much the whole downstairs level. We're on the lower level in the Oasis room. And I think, if I'm right, you could correct me if I'm not, Jim, but didn't we just sign another contract to extend our relationship with them for another year?
I believe we have. So I think we'll be there for all of 2023. Yes, I believe so.
Very, very good. If you can make it at all in person, on location, I say in person because we're all here in person, but if you can make it on location, I do highly encourage you to do that. I know they got the Shrine Circus is coming up. I believe it's in March also. And we were talking about maybe having a booth and sponsoring that. So, of course, always check it to the website, STLREIA.com for any updates. And I come here every Friday, but that's some stuff we got coming up. We got a big year planned for you guys. And it starts just in a few weeks, because I know January 17th is not that far off. So. Anybody else have anything they'd like to share with us today?
Hey, John, real
Yes,
quick
sir.
question. Do you have any opportunities lined up for any of us that are hunting properties for anybody there? Any specific properties that they're going to be looking for, or anything we can hunt from afar for you guys?
Are you asking, is anybody looking for want to buy anything, Eric? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, anything specific they're looking for.
Okay. Does anybody have anything specific they're looking for?
Eric,
Well-
Eric, are you a wholesaler, but out of town wholesaler? Is that what I heard?
Yes, I'm in Washington, but I'm working that area remotely right now.
Okay. Hey, I'm Scott Winkleman, and I can put my info in the chat, but I'm really looking to ramp up my portfolio in this next coming year. And you know, we can cash buy, but what we're looking for is trying to buy some portfolios from people, maybe retiring landlords or people who are just kind of changing their direction in life. So, and one of the things that, like John was talking about, the guest who's gonna be talking about vacant properties. I mean, vacant properties are a big problem in St. Louis, and if you say that we have a shortage of housing. I mean, we have so much housing available, it's just not occupiable, and we're not just looking for vacant properties, but we're looking for deals or looking for opportunities where maybe owners can't get what they need out of the property. So for example, if somebody's behind on their payments or just really need to get out, but they can't, all the low ball cash offers are coming in way too low that it would just destroy their financial picture. We're looking for those types of leads. And in the, obviously with the point of that is structuring something for purchasing on terms that would benefit all the parties. Also anybody that has, free and clear properties that can accept payments over time, terms that can get them a better return, almost to continue their, to continue their investing journey, so to speak. So looking for those types of opportunities. Yeah, hope that helps. I think there's a lot of cash buyers, and right now people are, I mean, I'm not looking at every single deal just because I don't know where the market's going to go, and I don't want to put too much cash out there now and borrow too much money. But if there's something that can be structured in a way that the seller, the buyer, the tenant, or the future buyer, that we can just kind of orchestrate a deal that will still make sense regardless of where the market goes. We're interested in those opportunities. Looking to, also get properties where we can find an end buyer and get somebody into home ownership, things like that. So would love to connect if you're finding any leads like that from where you're at. I'll put my contact in the chat, but Scott Winkleman, and my number is 314-807-8004. And my email is upwardprops, like going upward, and props as in properties, @gmail.com. Thanks.
Now, Scott, you had talked before about doing creative deals. Are you looking strictly for purchases? Are you looking maybe to take over payments too, with tenants in place? Is there any certain areas? Are you open to all areas? Just for a little more detail, maybe.
Yeah, in general, open to most areas that are ideally, C- and above. We don't want to get too crazy. Whether me and my wife are comfortable landlording in certain areas safety wise, but yeah. So anywhere in St. Louis County, St. Louis City, we have a little bit in South City, so we like that. St. Charles, we'd like to expand out there, which is where I grew up. So out there, as if it's out there. Really anywhere. Yeah, I mean, we're talking to one seller right now, for example, who has us, this was his original home, and then he bought another one, and it's just, I don't know what the plan was long term, but he bought it, or he refinanced in 2008, and is carrying a 6.5% interest rate and is really struggling to keep up with his payments. And it's like, you could have got a 2% rate, I just don't understand. But, as a result of that, he's trying to offload it, and all of the wholesalers or any investors are just offering him, 40,000 cash, and he owes 65 on it. And it's only going to be worth, 90 if it's fixed up. So we're trying to structure something that would, kind of dig him out of that hole, but also allow us to kind of have an opportunity in there. And then, maybe find a buyer to finance, them long-term, and, get somebody who may not qualify for a traditional loan to get into home ownership, over the course of 3, 4, 5, 7 years, whatever that makes sense. So yeah, taking over payments, purchasing on owner financing from, for example, a landlord who is sick of landlording, but would, kind of sell their equity to us over time, and, structure deals like that.
Mm-hmm.
Scott, that sounds fantastic. I'm kind of newer to the game, but I will do my very best. If I find something that sounds like you would fit your needs, I will contact you. I don't see your phone number in the system or in the chat yet. Could I get that from you again?
Yeah, I just put it in there.
Okay.
314-807-8004. We have all the paperwork, structured. So it's like our systems are in place. So and we've got a good title company that does some creative stuff. So we've got the systems in place. That's helpful to and for wholesalers, I think the lesson would be to, you can monetize these leads that are otherwise gonna just go in the trash can. So happy to, do some business there. It'd be great.
I'd be glad to give you anything I find along those routes, sir.
Where are you located, Eric?
I'm actually out of Vancouver, Washington. John's been helping teach me a few things, so I'm trying to pay as much attention as possible.
Cool.
Very good. Thank you. Thank you, Scott. Eric. Melissa, it looked like you put something in there. There's a house that was on fire. You want to tell us about that?
So it's a 1-story home, and the zip code is, let's see here, 63137. And I have the address if anybody would like it. You can Google it. 158 Brigadoon Circle, 63137. So her home caught on fire. It's gutted. The exterior is mostly good. I really, without digging too far into it, couldn't see anything. But I have the owner's contact information, and she is wanting to sell. We were actually gonna redo her whole home for her. And then she saw those dollar signs coming in, and lucky young lady, not lucky that her house caught on fire, but she's upgrading. It was good for her, so.
Nice. And what was that address again? Could you spell that street name maybe?
Sure. It is 158 Brigadoon, Brigadoon Circle. And that's in St. Louis, and the zip code is 63137.
Okay. And do you by any chance have a price that she was wanting for that?
I really don't.
Okay.
I mean, I kind of have like a ballpark idea in my mind, but I would rather not say.
Mhm.
It's not a lot. We already
Okay.
told her that it probably wouldn't be a whole lot. But I'd rather not.
Yeah, that's great. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, well,
So
there's
give
good
me a
opportunity.
call if anybody's interested. My phone number's on the chat. Give me a call and I can connect you with the owner.
Thank you. Very helpful.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah. All right. All right. Thank you very much. A lot of good stuff today. Anybody else have anything they want to say before we call it a day? Well, hopefully we'll see everybody coming up here on the 17th and on location. If not, we're going to be here every Friday. Next Friday is the first Friday of the month. Normally we have Catherine Davis, Ask the Attorney. She will not be here next week though, because her husband has another procedure. He just had some medical things lately, but she will be here in 2 weeks, but we will still meet next week anyway. So Catherine Davis, if you might want to mark your schedule for 2 weeks from today, will be the second Friday in January as opposed to the first like normal. And if nothing else, we will see you next Friday. So nobody has anything else. I'm glad to see y'all. Thank you for making it. Good to see you for the end of the year. Wish you the best coming up for 2023. So thanks,
New Year.
everybody.
Happy New Year.
Happy New
Happy
Year.
New Year. Thank you.
I know.
Happy New Year.